Hey, there it goes. It took it a second to start. Hi, I'm your host, Elizibar. We're going to talk about Executive Assistant Iris, number 5. Oh, boy. Where to start? I mean, I had so much fun reading it. I had so much fun. So we start here, outside Magnicorp. Iris and, oh my god, what is her name? Mac? I think her name's Mac. I really love this first panel. The use of the camera angle. This is classic. Let me pull that down a little bit so you can see the logo. This is like classic use of angles like in film. So we're looking upwards. The thing that's higher in the frame when you look upwards is implied to have more power in the situation. So Magni is looking down on them. In fact, we kind of see that a little bit if you look at the very next panel. It's looking kind of down. Now, this is great. Although you tell me there's not a single cloud in the sky. Well, it is LA, you know. But down here, there's no backgrounds in those two panels. That's a shame. That's a real shame. I was just talking about some book. Hold on, let me see if I can find it here. Are you book? Book of Rooney. This was just the other day. I was reviewing some book or other. This is Scrimshaw. Oh, shoot. Did I just hallucinate doing that then? I don't know. Maybe I did. But I feel like I was looking at a book and it had art, and I really liked the art. And there was a whole lot of panels where people were talking. And they... Oh, it was Aphrodite 5, Aphrodite V, number 3. There was tons and tons of discussion on pages, and nobody ever had their mouth open. Nobody ever had their mouth open. Her mouth is parted slightly. Her mouth is open. Parted lips. I'm loving it. I'd like some backgrounds on some of these pages. Like, here we got this background like that. Even at this angle, we should see the edge of the roof or something. It shouldn't just be that solid blue, gray, green color. And if this is supposed to be like the concrete or whatever that they're standing on, why is it different between the panels? They should be standing on like very similar surfaces. Now, I know you're thinking, Elizibar, over here on the previous page, it sure looked like they're standing out on the sidewalk in front of this place, and we see here that sidewalk is cast into squares, so we should be seeing that here too. You're right. You're absolutely right. The lack of backgrounds is killing me, but then I can forgive it a little bit because we get over here and we get to this excellent sequence. They throw the tear gas, the fire alarms get triggered, there's a battle with the security guards, action, good dynamic posing. Oh, it's good stuff. The cops show up. They take control of a drone tank and drop it on the cops. It's just wonderful. And I think I'm going to kind of stop there. Well, let's just flip over here to get to the final confrontation. So she's explaining, how she's, in the past, how she took out the 2 Yakuza gangs. There's a couple pages of flashback. They're great stuff. Now she's explaining how she's gotten into this guy's files to release them to the media, how she staged that whole scene that we saw. And so now the media, collusion, murder, Magnicorp, email leaks. So she takes this guy down. Sure, she beat up like all his security dudes, but she takes the guy down with the truth, as she says. It's very biblical. The truth will set you free. Why are there so many variants, man? I have the soul of a completionist, among other things, and so I see variants. I'm like, I want the variants, but then it's like they have the same insides. You're charging me like $30 for the same book, it really kind of hurts. I make exceptions sometimes. Doomsday Clock, for example, because it's a very controlled number of variants. But I'm not really into the variant game. I think they're part of the reason why comic books have trouble sometimes. You know, why the industry is suffering so much. Nice fresh water. But I really like the action sequence. I loved some of this stuff. Did I show you the page with the tank? I don't remember if I showed you the page with the tank. Let's just go to the page with the tank. This is a great 2-page spread. We see like a little inset panel telling us here's some stuff that's going on. We get this beautiful 2-page splash of the action. Then we get this panel showing what happens after the action. The final confrontation with the guy that runs Magnicorp is good stuff. The final twist at the end is very satisfying. But it's satisfying in that way that a good story is satisfying, because it makes me want another issue. It makes me want to see more. It makes me want to read more. And please, if you come out with another series of Executive Assistant Iris, can you not call it Executive Assistant Iris Volume 6? Can you call it like Executive Assistant Iris, the new story, or something to distinguish it so it's easier to order. It's easier to tell what's going on. It's easier for me to put in the CLZ collector's application thing on my phone. When I search for Iris, I shouldn't get like 500 different results that have the same freaking name. That's neither here nor there. The pacing is great. The story never got old. Even back here when they're talking about stuff, there's not too many words on the page. There's a lot of words. Some of these bubbles are pretty hefty. But it moves along at a clip. It tells you what's going to happen. When you're writing a paper or doing something like that, and you're trying to structure how you're going to write a thesis, basically, at the top level, there's 3 things you have to do. You have to tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. That's like the classic way I've always constructed thesis statements, arguments, whatever. You tell people what you're going to tell them. Here it is. They're telling us what they're going to tell us. Then we get here. They're telling us. And then there's some stuff at the end that I'm not going to show you, where they tell us what they told us, and they set up the rest of the story. It's very classic thesis constructions, very classic ways to build any kind of narrative. You have to do a little, showing, you do the telling, and then you have the anticlimax, the intro of the body, the climax, or however you want to, whatever words you want to use, it's all here. The writing's tight, the characters all have their unique voices that they've had in previous issues. The lettering is super tight. Again, like the only thing I would call out, and it's on page I'm not going to show you, is her writing her notebook. The color of the paper is wrong from what her notebook was way back in like the first issue. But that if that's what you're quibbling about with the lettering, then I think you're doing pretty good. Look at this. This is great use of technology. I'm reminded of Kingsman, where they have like the cell phone, and he's like, "Oh, what does it do?" And he's like, "It's just a cell phone." Because modern technology has caught up to the crazy stuff spies used to have access to in old spy movies. Now, one thing I did find interesting here, I'm just going to kind of let you look at these text bubbles here, okay? Iris, I don't know how you and me ended up together, but I'm glad it happened because it led us to here. You're the only person I can trust, and I wanted to say thank you. And she's being a little ingratiating. And that makes sense for the story. She's been kind of that way since they decided to betray Magnicorp a couple issues back. And the reason why is kind of explained. Like, there was, from when she was first introduced, there was always something up with this character. She's got her own angle. One way or another, in about 15 minutes, this will be over. Thank me if we make it out. Good use of the italic there. Inhale through your nostrils, exhale through your mouth. Try to relax and shoot anyone who gets between you and the basement. Got it. Minimal casualties. Iris didn't say anything about minimal casualties. Now, it's probably implicitly there. We're probably supposed to think that. But I think that that's an interesting jump. I didn't think about this ingratiating speech bubble up here until I got to here. And that kind of, it threw me for a loop. It was like, you know, you're walking along, talking to somebody, and there's a slip of the tongue, and then you realize that person isn't who you thought they were. Like, that's kind of what that felt like was going on right there. And then we flip over to this action scene, and we don't have time to think about that anymore. I don't like it as much as the tank going through the building action scene, which was pretty great. But I do love this, how the grenade canister leaves this panel into the next. It's super dynamic. It draws the eye. It lets me know this and this are related. It's good stuff. Also, I know this font, or at least one a lot like it. It's like Feast of Flesh, I think. I have a copy of this font that I got from like myfonts.com or something. If it's not Feast of Flesh, it sure looks a lot like it, but it looks like an italicized Feast of Flesh. Like, it's always funny when I see fonts I recognize, or at least fonts that are really similar to ones I recognize. Look at this, man. Look at this aggressive body language. We probably shouldn't be able to see her eyes through the mask, but the fact that we can, oh, that adds like so much punch to the kick. Punch to the kick? Really? Did I just say that? I sure did. I loved it. I loved it. That's all I can say. The little quibbles I had with the coloring way back in like the previous issues, like I didn't really feel that here. The only thing I can like get the art for is the backgrounds. The cover, this cover anyway. Was there a cover gallery? Hold on. I'm going to move this just because I don't want to show the back of the book. Oh yeah, there's that silly Aspen mascot stuff that doesn't do anything for me. What is the point to that? Does anybody know? Like, I tried reading that once or twice, and it really just doesn't do anything for me. But there's no cover gallery, I guess. I sure didn't see it if there is one. Oh, it's right here in the front cover. So yeah, this cover tells me more about what's going on in the book than this cover did. I kind of like the way covers used to be, where covers would tell you like what's going on. Hold on. I probably got some old book here. Here we go. I read this. It wasn't that actually that good of a comic. Boy, that cover makes it look crazy, right? Like here, first, special Onslaught update inside. Oh man, that Onslaught thing, right? Spectre of yesterday, Destroyer of tomorrow, big dude, oh, Cable, guns, fighting. Like all sorts of stuff is going on here. Who are they fighting? Why are they fighting? Like, you're not incentivizing me, you know? You could have called this, like, the fall of Magnicorp, or, you know, the revenge of Iris, or something, and that might have gotten more people to buy this book. My shop man at Graham Crackers, I think the only reason he has a copy of this book is the one I ordered. He doesn't stock any Aspen books because they don't sell. Nobody was ordering this. Nobody was interested in this but me. That's a weird place for me as a comic buyer to be. Like, I want this book. You know, he carries a couple Antarctic Press books, but not the whole range. It's just actually the Trump parodies, I think, because they actually sell. He doesn't carry any others. I got this, the first couple of these I got at Westfield Comics because they stock Aspen. But boy, they sit around on the shelf for a while before they actually move. Like, they'll still be, he'll have like 4 copies or whatever on the shelf, and the next week when I go in, he's still got 2 copies, and they're just behind the 4 copies of the next one. Like, that kind of stuff. It's weird. Maybe if you punched your covers up, you could get something else out of this. I don't know. I do know that I think I might like seeing a TV show or something about this character. Like, I think that'd be fun. That'd go over pretty well. Female assassin, like that's movie material right there. People have made movies. They've made TV shows out of that kind of stuff. And this particular run here, I think actually it's a pretty good jumping on point. There's a lot of backstory, but you can kind of gloss over the backstory because with flashbacks. Like, we do in this. And I don't want to flip to the flashbacks, and I'm trying not to show you the whole book. I've been rambling for like 15 minutes. I loved it. Iris was great. I really liked a lot of the stuff about the book. I'm loving the fact that we actually see people's mouths open. Like, that seems like a goofy thing, but it's true. It's true. I'll see you all next time. You have a great day. Check this out. I'm sure the trade will be coming out pretty soon, so maybe you want to check that out. I will see you all next time. Until then, bye-bye.